Welcome back to Record Rift, where we tear through history's pages to reveal the moments that shaped our world. Today, we're stepping into the fiery crucible of the Spanish Civil War, a brutal conflict from 1936 to 1939 that tore Spain apart and set the stage for World War II. Picture a nation divided, Republicans, anarchists, and communists battling fascists and monarchists in a struggle that drew in global powers. This wasn't just a civil war. It was a testing ground for ideologies and weapons that would soon engulf the globe. Why did Spain erupt? How did this clash foreshadow a greater catastrophe? Join us as we explore the Spanish Civil War's chaos, courage, and consequences, a prelude to the world's darkest hour. Let's dive in. In the 1930s, Spain was a powder keg. The Second Spanish Republic, formed in 1931 after King Alfonso X's exile, promised reform but faced deep divisions. Landless peasants, urban workers, and a rising middle class demanded change, while landowners, the Catholic Church, and conservative elites clung to tradition. Political factions, socialists, anarchists, communists, monarchists, and fascists, clashed violently. Economic woes, worsened by the Great Depression, fueled unrest, with strikes and riots commonplace. The 1936 election saw a narrow victory for the Popular Front, a leftist coalition, alarming the right, who feared a communist takeover. Tensions boiled over in July 1936 when a military coup, led by generals like Francisco Franco, aimed to overthrow the Republic. The Nationalists, backed by conservatives, the Church, and the fascist phalange, sought a centralized, authoritarian Spain. The Republicans, a mix of socialists, anarchists, and liberals, fought for democracy and reform. The coup failed to seize key cities like Madrid and Barcelona, but it split Spain geographically and ideologically, igniting a civil war. The conflict wasn't just internal. Its ideological stakes drew in Nazi Germany, Fascist Italy, the Soviet Union, and volunteers from across the world, making Spain a microcosm of global tensions. The Spanish Civil War was a brutal, grinding struggle. The Nationalists, based in the South and West, controlled rural areas, while the Republicans held industrial centers like Madrid, Barcelona, and Valencia. Both sides unleashed terror. Nationalists executed priests and unionists. Republicans targeted clergy and landowners. Major battles like Jarama and Guadalajara in 1937 were bloody stalemates with tens of thousands killed. The Nationalist advance was methodical, capturing Seville early and pushing toward Madrid. The war's brutality shocked the world. In April 1937, the German Condor Legion, supporting the Nationalists, bombed Guernica, a Basque town, killing hundreds of civilians in a deliberate terror attack. Immortalized by Picasso's iconic painting, Guernica symbolized the war's horrors and the dawn of modern aerial warfare. By 1938, the Nationalists gained ground, splitting Republican territory at the Battle of the Ebro, the war's longest and bloodiest campaign. The Republicans, plagued by infighting between communists, anarchists, and moderates, struggled to unify. The war's toll was staggering. An estimated 500,000 died, including 100,000 executed, and cities lay in ruins. The Spanish Civil War became a proxy for global ideologies. Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy poured support into Franco's Nationalists, providing planes, tanks, and 100,000 troops. The Condor Legion's bombing campaigns, like Guernica, tested tactics later used in World War II. The Soviet Union backed the Republicans, supplying weapons and advisors, but Stalin's paranoia led to purges of non-communist allies, weakening their cause. The International Brigades, 40,000 volunteers from 50 countries, including American Abraham Lincoln Brigade members, joined the Republicans, driven by anti-fascist ideals. Writers like George Orwell and Ernest Hemingway, who fought or reported, brought the war's drama to the world. Western democracies like Britain and France adopted non-intervention, fearing escalation, though their embargo hurt the Republicans more. Mexico and the Soviet Union were the Republic's main allies, but their aid couldn't match fascist support. Spain became a laboratory for World War II. Germany tested blitzkrieg tactics, while ideological battles, fascism versus communism versus democracy, foreshadowed the global conflict. The war's international stakes made its outcome a chilling preview of what was to come. By 1939, the Republicans were crumbling. The The loss of the Ebro in 1938 shattered their morale, and internal divisions, communists versus anarchists, moderates versus radicals, paralyzed their efforts. Franco's nationalists, bolstered by fascist aid and a unified command, tightened their grip. In January 1939, Barcelona fell, and thousands of Republicans fled to France and the Retirada, a desperate exodus. Madrid, under siege for years, surrendered in March 1939. On April 1st, Franco declared victory, establishing a fascist dictatorship that lasted until his death in 1975. The war's end was grim. Franco's regime executed or imprisoned tens of thousands, with 200,000 dying in post-war purges. 500,000 Spaniards fled, many to France or Latin America, creating a diaspora that shaped global culture. The Republic's defeat crushed hopes for democracy, leaving Spain isolated under Franco's iron rule. The war's scars divided families, ruined cities, and suppressed voices linger for decades, a testament to its ferocity and the stakes of ideological warfare. The Spanish Civil War was more than a national tragedy. It was a dress rehearsal for World War II. Germany and Italy honed military tactics and tested weapons, gaining confidence for their aggression in 1939. The failure of appeasement as democracy stood by emboldened Hitler and Mussolini, while the Soviet Union's involvement deepened global distrust. The war polarized ideologies, framing fascism and communism as existential threats, a divide that defined the coming global conflict. Spain's suffering left lasting marks. Franco's regime suppressed dissent, but resistance persisted, paving the way for Spain's democratic transition in the 1970s. Culturally, the war inspired works like Orwell's Homage to Catalonia and Picasso's Guernica, symbols of resistance and loss. Globally, it showed the dangers of ideological extremism and the cost of inaction. The Spanish Civil War wasn't just Spain's fight. It was a warning to the world, a prelude to catastrophe that erupted months later in 1939. That's the searing saga of the Spanish Civil War, a clash that tore a nation apart and foreshadowed global disaster. What do you think? Could the Republicans have won, or was Franco's victory inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell us what historical conflict you want us to explore next on Record Rift. If this journey through Spain's turmoil gripped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to join our quest through history. Until next time, keep uncovering the rifts that shape our past. This is Record Rift, signing off.